Hello, everyone, and I am pleased to announce that I have Bessa Mesaiti with me. Bessa is a specialist now with her own firm and a blockchain firm. She's going to tell us a little bit what that firm is about. She just came back from a interesting conference. So Bessa, tell us a little bit about what this firm of yours does.
Okay, thank you for having me, Professor. So just as an intro, I graduated from the Lehigh MFE program in spring of 2025, and my focus area was like blockchain technology. My projects were in data analytics, some MEV research after graduating, and related stuff in blockchain tech. And late last year, uh, as I was navigating the job search, I found that one of the problems that I was facing in the industry that I wanted to work on were related to energy. So I'm from Botswana, and I was as I was thinking of, what are some projects or problems that I could be working on related to what I studied at Lehigh and my experience in blockchain. And so, just as a quick context, Botswana is a small country in Southern Africa, and most of its GDP comes from diamond mining and agriculture and tourism. And so, because there's an influx of synthetic diamonds in the market, right, more consumers are not, they no longer think like diamonds are a girl's best friend, right? So, if most of your GDP comes from diamond mining and the government subsidizes healthcare and education, it means that, things are not going to look too good on the treasury. So I was like, okay, what's one way I could tackle this problem, helping my country whilst also leveraging my education and experience? And I looked into energy. So Botswana, most of its produced electricity comes from fossil fuels like coal. And so I decided to pivot into that and see how renewable energy can be used in Botswana to power high compute operations like Bitcoin mining and AI data infrastructure. And so that Bitcoin mining was the tie-in into my experience in blockchain technology. And I went sort of down the rabbit hole about different metrics that people look into for solar visibility, how different Bitcoin mining companies across the world are leveraging renewable energy infrastructure to power their operations, things like colocation, where you have a ready-made renewable energy infrastructure and you decide that you are going to um, put an AI data center there to make use of the energy, or a Bitcoin mining um, operational infrastructure there, which actually does not um, negatively affect electric grids. When demand for energy is high and supply is constant, you can turn off the infrastructure for Bitcoin mining, and when demand is low, you can turn it on to curtail. So yeah, my firm does research into that, and I'm also building. It's in MVP phase. I'll be representing it to our government, the MVP phase of it by the end of this month, and it's basically a machine learning tool that takes in geospatial data like solar irradiance data, temperature, topology, stuff like topography, sorry, and then gives a feasibility score and a financial feasibility score to the users just for regions in Southern Africa, starting in Botswana. So that's the company, yeah.
Great. So you were at the conference very recently and you gave a presentation there. What is the vibe? What is going on in crypto today?
Yeah, I mean, it was my first blockchain conference and my first ETH Denver. So ETH Denver is a blockchain conference. I think they started it in 2018, somewhere there, and they've been running it since. Last year they had 20,000 attendees. This year the turnout was much smaller because, the crypto is in a bearish market, and with everything that's happening, not as many sponsors showed up. I mean, they were signing up late. We were seeing the announcements coming up a few days into the beginning of the conference. But a lot of the people that showed up there that I saw were builders, right? It's like a Web3 conference as well as a builders conference where people get to build projects on chain and showcase them to like venture capitalists, angel investors, and other Web3 enthusiasts. And yeah, sentiment was different. There was like it was ranging in positive, neutral, and negative. People were posting memes about the the landscape of Denver, the homelessness and stuff, just to make fun of the conference. Some people were very much like, during times of negative sentiment, only the most committed and the strongest will stay and show up. So, I mean, I think sentiment was very strong. People who want to continue building in blockchain showed up. The talks focused on agentic frameworks, AI agentic frameworks, and crypto tokenization of real world assets, some Bitcoin mining. It's not just, I know, sorry, not Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin. It's not just Ethereum, though it's called ETH Denver. Some people from different blockchains, ecosystems showed up. So, yeah, the main topics were agentic AI frameworks, tokenization of real world assets, and privacy. Privacy, yeah.
So was it a positive? So it was a, you think it was a mix because what's going on with Bitcoin right now? Why is it? I mean, obviously the price has gone down a lot, although it seems to be stabilizing recently. What's your view on
Yeah.
all this? What do you think is happening?
I mean, I think a lot of factors come into play. Some conspiracy theories, they talk about how with those files, some of the initial founders of that ecosystem had ties with Epstein. But again, Bitcoin is a decentralized framework, so you can't say that because this person was involved, it means the whole thing is infected. But that could be where sentiment is pointing into. Um, some people talk about the environmentalists. They are still their focus is still on Bitcoin mining has a negative because of the proof of work model that it has a negative influence on the environment and regulation when it comes to those operations that are said to impact the grid negatively, right? You had Trump saying data centers should pay their fair share of electricity. So sentiment across the US and different jurisdictions, not state jurisdictions, varies about this. Um, that's another one. I mean, again, you also have to follow the money, I guess. More cash flow from institutional investors is going into building frameworks like tokenized real world assets, right? You have, for example, Franklin Templeton's Benji Technology. I think they had a partnership with Binance Smart Chain where they said you can use your assets in Binance as collateral when trading whatever on Franklin Templeton. So I'm not very sure, but these are some of the factors. And of course, macroeconomic policy, looking at what the US government under Trump is doing is definitely it's not helping, I guess. So that those are the factors. I'm not 100% sure on why it's happening, but that's like some of the things of that's going on there.
Okay, so but there is we do need crypto, right? We do need blockchain. It's
Mhm.
embedded in the system. Don't forget, there's also the Clarity Act that's coming through, right?
Mhm.
What's the latest on that? Is that going to happen or?
I mean, I'm not very sure, but at the conference, Patrick Waite, I think he's a spokesperson at the White House that is, pushing the legislation, trying to work with both Republicans and Democrats in this regard. I don't know if he gave updates. I watched his talk, but he said they are still trying to come to a consensus on legislation that can keep pushing um crypto frameworks forward. He mentioned legislators saying they want to make sure that for example, the president and his family, you know, you can have, he said, what common sense frameworks that prevent them from like insider information kind of vibes. He didn't really say like what progress is going to look like concerning those acts, but that's what he says.
Yeah, because I was talking to Bogdan, he's worked on with us on a project, and he's also a algo trader, and we had a talk on block on crypto and blockchain, and he's saying, there's a lot of it's still not a regulated entity the way it should be. So, like, in fact, you kind of seem to be saying the same thing here. They're still making sure nobody takes advantage of the system. According to him, the institutions sometimes will take advantage of the little guy because they don't, sometimes a price, a coin will sell at different prices in two different area. If you're able to take advantage of it, then you do. So it's not, it still is very unreliable. I mean, we made a lot of progress, but I guess you can't take advantage of the little investor there for the time being, and that creates for this environment. Even though today it would appear that after the news of the invasion, the not the invasion but the war, that Bitcoin is actually doing pretty well considering. Do you have any view
Mhm.
on that? I mean, Bitcoin well, is at 69,000. It's up $3,000 today, up 5%. Even though, in fact, it's doing better than gold and silver.
Yeah. Oh, gold. I thought it's some. I saw today somewhere above 5,000, right? It gained.
5,300, but it's only up 0.82%, and silver is down 5%. But Bitcoin is up. Why?
Yeah, I mean,
What do you
even if
think?
ETH is up, it's over 2,000 I saw. And
ETH is up
yes,
6%, yes.
yes. Sentiment on crypto Twitter is, people think that cryptocurrency is like this jank scam industry, but during times of, I mean, I know that Eco 101 says that during times of economic downturns, cash flows will move to more stable assets like gold, um, silver, whatever the case may be. But I'm not very sure. I haven't looked into it, into why the cryptocurrencies people are the crypto whales are moving more into that and powering Bitcoin and ETH. Um, yeah, I haven't given it much thought, but I've seen that, people are saying, yeah, crypto is doing really well, even though they said it's a scam industry, something like that.
Well, I think people say it's a scam industry because they don't understand it. But frankly, if you want to move money across the world, look,
Hmm.
did you hear from MicroStrategy, for example? Was he there? Did he have anybody there to talk about his company?
Oh, the Bitcoin. No, no. There
Yeah.
was like one or two, three, four Bitcoin. There was a mini summit for Bitcoin, but no, he wasn't there.
Yeah, because what he's trying, I mean, I think a lot of people are saying that because they don't understand crypto. They don't understand Bitcoin. They say, what is this? What's the point of it? What the mining, the math?
Yeah, I mean, I had to explain this to my pastor not so long ago because he was when I was traveling there, actually, he wanted to know why do people invest in Bitcoin? Um, there are many reasons why. One of them is, why gold? Gold is a has I don't know for how long it's been there in the market, maybe for thousands of years and traded as money, right? But outside its perceived theoretical cap in demand, there is utility, right? You can use a gold as a what is it called? A production good to produce other goods, right? And it's cap demand plus utility in the markets is what keeps it there, as well as during times of speculative market sentiment, cash flow will go there because it's a hedge against volatile assets. With Bitcoin, it's not theoretical demand. It's capped at is it 21 million coins in cap demand? I mean supply, sorry, not demand, supply. And it's programmatic. um, in a decentralized system, and um, the framework which produces more coins into the environment uh, caps the amount of rewards that you can get every 4 years. So when something is said to have perceived capped supply, people move there, right? If something is, it's like diamonds. Why are diamonds loved? Why do people love diamond rings? Okay, it's shiny, but there's that perceived scarcity, right? There's perceived scarcity when it comes to Bitcoins. And so that's why, partly why cash flow moves there. And also it was the first cryptocurrency in the early 2000s. So that first movers advantage also plays a part. Um, and this economist, I forgot his name, an Austrian British economist. He's very famous. He's part of the Austrian School of Economics. I forgot his name, but he did mention that money shouldn't be something that, when a government says the US dollar is the currency that you should use and then you should accept it. He said money should compete, right? Because from the inception of humanity, we've gone through trading using feathers, glass beads, salt, silver, gold. Money keeps competing. And he says you can't be stuck with sovereign countries' currencies. Another currency has to come in and compete and let, survival of the fittest kind of Darwinism kind of vibes. And so they believe that he predicted cryptocurrency because it money must compete against other kinds of money. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what because the dollar is also, although today the dollar is going up a bit because of what's happening, but the dollar has been going down a lot recently,
Hmm.
and maybe that's what's creating the. Plus, I mean, there's just money going in and out. Did you hear the story about Jane Street and the 10 o'clock? Right, they were dumping, but not
Yeah.
dumping, but they were putting money inside every day. They were front. I mean, according to the lawsuit, basically front running.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a good thing that, I mean, people may call the cryptocurrency industry a scam, but it's one of the most transparent. I mean, you can tell when JP Morgan is buying or selling Bitcoin or ETH, or you can tell when, Trump Foundation, I forgot the name, the World something something, his company is doing something. So that transparency different from stocks, right? If people complain about insider trading in the US government, with crypto, it's transparent for many blockchains. So you can really see, like, even with this, we're glad the lawsuit comes out. We don't know how it's going to end, but I'm glad transparency is a good thing. It can also it also shows you the power of whales, right? You always think, oh, it's just you against the market, but there are hands underneath the table, you know.
Oh yeah, no, this is what Bogdan was telling us as well, is that there's a lot of the institutions,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're huge impact, and you think that oh, it's going up, and then they're dumping, and then you end up making their game. So overall, you're positive about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, I'd like to say not just Bitcoin cryptocurrency, because that's just one small aspect of it, right? What can you really do with cryptocurrencies? The emphasis should be on blockchain technology.
Blockchain,
That's,
yes.
yes, that's the underlying technology, right? Thinking of tokenization of real world assets. Um, what BlackRock has tokenized money market funds. Uh, when I went to East Denver, we are talking about a tokenized loan obligations platform that allows it's a platform that bridges capital needs of builders and affordable housing with money from institutional investors, right? If regulated in the US, or retail investors if you're elsewhere, right? Um, so there are many use cases there, like even in insurance, in space, there's a space economy, right? Space as a service, and how blockchain technology is gonna end up there, right? We have many blockchain companies like Space Chain that are launching mini satellites, and they are leveraging it to sell satellites as a service. So like it's not just like when I went to Denver, my Uber driver, so not Uber, Coop, it was called. He asked me like, well, how can someone make money outside just, buy low, sell high? And yeah, there's more to the space. Like many, like the ETH Denver thing is all about people building projects, building stuff, not just, telling people like I'm launching this token, buy it, and then rug pull your no well, they know that meme coins are meant to be rug pulled, but they still do it anyway. But yeah, there's blockchain technology is transforming. You have the World Protocol is leveraging blockchain technology to show proof of person. There's still debates about that because they take in biometric data, right, which is sensitive data. Some jurisdictions like the EU and the US, they protect users, but in some places in remote areas, maybe remote areas of Africa or Asia or Europe, they don't protect data privacy. So there are ethical questions there, but there are many use cases that are outside trading assets.
Great. Anything to add that we should know about the future, about what you're going to do and what's next for you?
Yeah, what am I? Well, I have another. It's a decentralized autonomous organization, but it has to do with chess, and it's similar to what I was presenting about, but this time it's bridging funding needs of chess tournament organizers with donors and sponsors. So it's more like a corporate social responsibility project, but it's like I say, I'm passionate about blockchain tech, so I put my money where my mouth, where my money is.
Mm.
One of those. Yeah.
But you know what? It would appear that it's a lot easier to create something, right? Like you're creating your company now, especially with AI and crypto and blockchain, right? Than it used to be in the past. In the past, if you want to make a company, you gotta hire people. You need people to do this, people. But now you could do a lot of it yourself. Do you find it easier? I mean, is it? I mean, all you need
Mm-hmm.
is an idea, right, in the right frame, and you don't. It seems to be easier to put things together now with AI.
Yeah, everything it's not just AI because AI doesn't improve bureaucracies. But I guess when you have more time on your hands and you are willing to put the effort and you have consistency, you can get things done. AI certainly makes, like if I have a business plan and I need to submit it to a grant or something like that, or I need to prepare for my presentation or something, it
Yeah,
makes everything so much easier.
of
Yeah.
course. Yes, that's in the past you had to hire someone to do it for you, and then you need but now you could a printer. You don't need none of this stuff anymore. You just upload
Yeah,
it
but
and create it.
yeah, I mean, people like this, the ads like to say stop using AI as a Google, which I think we do mostly.
Of
I mean, we have
course.
to move. There's like something called AI agentic frameworks, right,
Yeah.
which automate tasks that you would have had to do, like, oh, I want to buy my groceries. Let me use Uber Eats with its partnership with this agentic AI framework. I also met this guy. He's a child prodigy and he's the CEO of a company called Swarms AI. And they are building, I think I don't, it's very complicated, but I think it's parallel agentic AI frameworks that allow you to carry out different tasks. For example, if you have needs in supply chain and you have different tasks, you can assign them to, you can create your own agentic AIs that can work simultaneously. So it's like not just, Google searches kind of using AI for that, but building. I guess that's what those billionaires like Mark Cuban mean when they say you must really learn AI and how to use it.
You. Yeah. Not so much how to Google it, but how to what to do with it. Great. So thank you very much for your time, Bessa. We'd appreciate it, and hopefully you come back and tell her what you're up with next.
Thank you.